All right.
Okay, while I make it still. Alright, we're going in 3, 2, 1. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of She Is No Lady. We're here live on location at Springgate in Harrisburg. And for those of you who don't know, Springgate is an awesome local winery. Fantastic wine that I literally just spilled all over my hands. Bunch of different flavors and bunch of different types. So hopefully we'll do a little sampling tonight. Eat some tacos, courtesy of 717 Tacos, I believe, which are going to be awesome. And we have a guest star today, and our guest is
Courtney.
Courtney. All right. So Courtney is on the show today for a very special reason. You know what? I don't want to spoil it. Courtney, let us know. What are you talking about today?
I would like to talk about being in a career that most men is dominated by men, and that would be architectural drafting.
Okay, you said architectural drafting?
Yes.
All right, so I know we discussed it a little bit, and I'm still really confused. Tell everybody, so let's just pretend like I know what she's talking about, and tell everybody at home, what is architectural drafting?
Okay, so drafting in general is something that is used for just about everything that is made. So from a cell phone to a pair of sneakers to a pen. A drafter designs everything in regards to how the pen cap fits onto the pen, how everything fits into your inkjet and everything fits into your pen, even down to when you're talking about sneakers, how the leather is going to fit around the sole. Everything is designed within tolerances of like hundreds of centimeters or inches. And so in architectural drafting, you have somebody that has to understand the fundamentals of the way you build a house, or a building in general. So that includes like what kind of insulation you're going to need on your exterior walls compared to your interior walls, how an HVAC system is set up, how an electrical panel is going to be, where that's going to be, why it needs to be there. And so I worked for a company for a while that did, after I graduated from ITT, which is now gone, and I don't recommend going there. Talking to the camera, and all you folks, don't go there. It's gone now. But I got my degree there, and then got into working for an architecture company in downtown Harrisburg. And they did schools, so it was all designing colleges and high schools and campuses and stuff across up and down the East Coast. So and then I got pregnant, unfortunately, by mistake. I don't mean unfortunately, I mean by mistake.
Walk that back a little bit
because it's not unfortunate. He's amazing. But I got pregnant and was laid off while I was on maternity leave.
What?
Yeah, and that can happen. It's totally legal. They did not have work for me. It was nothing illegal at all. Things fell through, and then the pandemic hit, and it was crazy. So I was lucky enough to get a CAD job online, and now I am designing solar panels for residential houses, based for a company and a civil engineering firm in California.
Wow. All right. So let's rewind a little bit. So when you were in school, how long did you go to school for?
2 years. It's a trade school program.
Okay.
So you are learning softwares, and because all of this is done via software now, nothing is done by hand anymore. So you learn like one class of manual drafting, and the rest of it is all done. You're learning computer programs to learn how to draw. I can't draw at all.
You can't draw, so you can be an architect and not architectural drafter and not be able to draw.
In today's day, yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you have to use a ruler. You have to learn how to read scales that are engineering and architectural scales and things like that, and they take everything and scale it down to smaller portions so that you can see something on a piece of paper that's massive. Okay, so you have to learn that, but beyond that, you don't do manual drafting anymore. It's all done online.
That's crazy. So, obviously I knew, I know about all that. But pretend I didn't know. In my mind, hypothetically speaking, I would assume that you'd be at some big ass desk like kind of like How I Met Your Mother. You know, you're like Ted Mosby, like sitting at a desk with like a tilted table with like a blueprint right there, and you're drawing, you know, your little edge sketch with your.
That's
fucking
manual
pencil.
drafting.
Okay, so that's dead now.
Pretty much, yes, because there's a program called AutoCAD,
Okay.
and it kind of sets the whole new age technology in motion for drafting in general, for engineering firms, for architecture firms, civil engineering firms, all of them. So when you talk about like building a new housing project, okay, the roads and stuff, all of your intersections, where the lights are, your
Yeah.
traffic lights, everything is all designed by a CAD person.
Wow.
And those are usually civil engineers
Okay.
and civil drafters. And then the people that do the design the buildings and stuff is what I do.
Okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so at what point in time in your life, like, is this something that you were kind of into? Because you said you're not artsy. So, like, is this something you thought about, like, a long time ago? Or, like, how did you decide to get into this field? Out of every field you could have went into, why this field?
But number one, it was a creative field.
Okay.
Because you can take, when I was in school, you could take drafting and you could go in several different avenues. So like I said, when they're teaching you, they teach you about civil engineering. So they teach you about bridges and large dams and stuff like that.
Okay.
They need drafters for that. They also need drafters for things like cell phone design and computer design and all of those kinds of things. All of that was boring to me. But when we got to architecture, I started to be able to design houses. And that blew my mind. From the exterior to the interior, I could do all of it.
Yeah.
And that was like, it sparked my creativity. And
That's awesome.
so I launched into it, having no idea what I was getting into. It was the only school that would take me, and I wanted to go back to college. I had been a bartender, I had worked in hotels,
Okay.
retail, I had done all the jobs that like really, really suck
Mm-hmm.
and definitely don't pay enough. And I'm like, I should not have to work 2 jobs to just live my life.
Absolutely.
So I was like, I'm going back to school and I don't care how long it takes. So it took me from like 25 to 32 to finally get back in college.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So you did it, I mean, and it's not late in life, but, you know, compared to some of the other, like, you know, fresh out of high school,
Yeah,
that'd be considered a little late. That's awesome.
Yeah, my father died when I was 18.
Sorry
Well,
about
3 weeks before my 18th birthday. So, like, I was not in the right headspace.
Yeah.
So I tried to go to college for a year, and it was like, I was skipping classes. I was never going. I'd rather smoke weed and drink in the daytime than, like, be responsible. So, you know, you're a kid. You know no better.
Absolutely.
So then by the time I'm, like, 25, I'm like, man, I should have gone to college. And all my friends have good jobs that did go to college, and I'm over here struggling, working every holiday,
Yeah.
you know, missing all types of stuff. I work nights so I could get paid
These
more.
holidays are no joke,
But then you
boy.
miss everything. You don't get to go out with your friends. You have no social life because you're working all those hours all the time.
And it's
So, like,
opposite hours. It's always opposite hours
it's
from everybody
crazy.
else.
and it's exhausting.
It is.
You know what I mean? And even though I'm a night owl and I have no problem with that, it still was just not working. So I knew I wanted to go back to college and I didn't know what it was for. And I went to ITC and they were like, this job, like, you can take it any avenue you want. I'm like, okay, so let me see what this is about. I knew nothing about this. I sat in my first class with my mouth hanging open like, oh my God, what did I just do? I don't know what he's saying. I don't know what he's talking about. And there was one other girl in my class.
Wow.
There were 5 girls on the whole campus,
Damn.
including myself.
So so obviously you probably don't know the exact numbers, but roughly 5 girls out of
100 at least or more.
it's crazy.
We would run into each other and we automatically had camaraderie, like in the women's bathroom, because you're like, oh my God, there's another person in here. Holy shit. Like, you couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So I sat and looked at this one girl and I was like, do you have any idea what this guy's talking about? It's like the second day we're in class together and she's like, nah. And I was like, oh, thank God. Okay. Well, then I'll stick it out, see if we can learn together, you know, because this is nuts. And so I stuck with it and I made myself get the degree. And when it was probably like my second semester, they introduced architecture. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to build tiny houses. I have like ideas about a whole tiny house community to help like veterans
What?
and kids that are like transferring out of the system.
Yeah.
You know, kids that were never adopted, but when they turn 18, they're just like, okay, we're done with you.
Yeah.
they don't have any guidance. They don't have anybody to ask what they're supposed to do with their
Absolutely.
lives.
Wow.
So I thought if I build a tiny house community with like using shipping containers,
Yeah.
and then they'd be like one room, like 40 feet long, 10 feet
Yeah.
wide. You put a bunch of them on a piece of land. Do it so that there's a community center in the center of it. And that would get you, you know, your help with resumes. You know, you have volunteers
Yeah.
or people that work there. If I could do like a nonprofit,
Yeah.
people that work there, and they will help you do your resume and they will help you look for jobs and teach you how to use this technology that is all at our fingertips.
Absolutely.
And all you need is a little help and a little bit of, you can do this.
Absolutely.
And I
No
don't think
push.
people get enough of that, and I think that's really important too.
Absolutely.
So like, and I wouldn't even say guys or girls or anything like that, all genders, just come and be loved, and like, let's help you get out into the world. Or like, when people get released from prison,
Yeah.
they do non-violent crimes and they get locked up for like a pound of weed or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Come on. And then 5 or 6 years later, they're locked up at 16, 17, 18. They get released at 25. Who is going to hire you? Do you even know how to write a resume? You were locked up at
Nope.
16. You didn't even get to take that class before you got locked up. So I feel like, you know, there's things like that, and that's what drove me. Once I got in there and I started thinking about these things and the ways that you could possibly like help people. Because I also think that like in Harrisburg alone, you have so many overpriced apartments. And our minimum wage is still $7.45 an hour. What kind of sense does that make? And like, yeah, okay, we're a bigger city. I get it, okay? We ain't Philly. We are not New York, and we are not Baltimore.
Absolutely not.
There is no reason that it should be $1,200 or $900 for a one-bedroom apartment in downtown Harrisburg.
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? With mice running in from the river, because we all know they're there.
Yeah.
That's
Those
where they
water bugs.
live. That's
Those
their
dirty water
environment.
bugs.
Like,
Yeah.
so like, you're gonna charge me that? Okay, well here's an idea. What if one place actually rented for the prices that their shit was actually worth? So a one bedroom apartment would be $500 instead of $750.
Mhm.
Okay? And it was clean. Do you need marble countertops? No, you don't. Because they're a bitch to clean. Let's be honest. Okay? Do you need, you know, real wood floors? No, but it's real nice when you get a little linoleum that looks like hardwood, don't it?
Yeah.
You can do all of that and get really nice housing, and people can actually afford it. And those houses that are condemned down in Harrisburg that are selling for $2 to $5 grand, flip them. There are people that want those houses
Mhm.
and that don't want the roaches that come with it because you didn't care enough to clean them and spray like you should have. Because 5 years ago somebody lived there and had roaches, and now it's just a whole family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's very easy to help people locally, and I feel like doing what I'm doing, I mean, I have a business plan, I have it all set up, and it's just been a dream of mine. So, but then I got pregnant. So like, that kind of sets you back, and like, okay, I got to give up the next 5 years of my life to be a proper mom. And I know that that's what you have to do as a mom. And then as they get older, you get a little bit of your life back. And so, you know, I can take a little bit of time and in my early 40s decide to like try to pursue this. But I need investors, and I need to look more on research on like nonprofits and stuff. But that is the goal. The eventual goal
Gotcha.
would be amazing to have a property like that
That sounds
and have
awesome.
a couple acres to be able to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
So, real quick, I mean,
Sorry, I went on a whole tirade. My
it's
bad.
alright. If there's anybody right now that's watching this, that is looking for somewhere to put all of that money that you have, but you're just not sure what to do with, I mean, shit, this is one of the most beautiful ideas I've heard in a very long time. I mean, to be able to spend the money to go to school strictly to try to help better the community. I mean, that's something that is few and far between. And hopefully soon, like I said, hopefully somebody's watching this and knows about nonprofits, knows about that sector to where they can help make this a reality. I mean, because at this point, it wouldn't just be a dream of yours. This is a dream
Oh,
of,
yeah.
you know, kids living on the streets right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's
Like,
kids right now, you know, the unwanted kids.
yes.
The unwanted kids, and that could be from unwanted from their parents or in the foster care system, like you said, because they're too old.
Whichever.
and
Yes, it
nobody-
doesn't
and
matter
they don't,
where you
know,
come
they have
from or
nowhere to go.
where you started.
Yeah.
We are here to help you if you need it, kind of situation. I would love to have that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's awesome. Like I said, if anybody's, seriously, on a serious note, if anybody's out there right now and they're watching this shit and they're thinking, what could they possibly do to make it different, Get with Courtney, man. Get with Courtney.
I'll work with you.
Leave a comment below. Courtney's gonna see it. I'll make sure of it. Leave a comment. Send a DM if you don't feel comfortable. Send a DM to the page, and let's try to make this a reality, man.
That would be amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, in the meantime, of trying to get your dream, what are you doing as far as as far as what you're doing now?
Yes.
Like currently, what are you doing?
Okay, so I'm designing the construction documents for a installer to go out and put solar panels on people's residential homes.
Okay.
And the company is based in California, so
Okay.
all of the work is done in California.
Okay, so but it's all remote, so you get to work from home.
Yeah, I work from home so I can take care of my son.
Okay.
Because even though I have a great paying job, it is $1,000 almost a month for daycare
Yeah.
for a child under 2.
Yeah.
And that made
Sure.
no sense for me to drive to work every day, whether it be Harrisburg, Lancaster, like the architecture firms around here are centrally located. There's
Yeah.
very few like on the outskirts, so I would have to drive far
Sure.
because I don't know civil drafting, I know architecture. So even though there's tons of engineering firms,
Yeah.
that's not gonna help me.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I could do it, but they're not gonna take me as fast as somebody else who has the experience.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I started looking online and at Indeed.com. They're awesome.
I got my job.
I'm just going to throw them in just because.
Yeah.
They're awesome. And yeah, I found the job online and I learned it. It took me about 6 months to a year to perfect it.
Okay.
And we did everything via email and video, information and stuff. And
Yeah.
now it's about probably 6 to 7 projects a week.
Yeah. Oh,
So
wow.
they're residential homes and they're everyday people
Yeah.
that are putting solar panels on their houses.
That's cool.
Hmm.
So now you're like saving the planet, one draw at a time. Fucking Superwoman over here.
I never thought about it like that, but yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so.
saving the planet.
Solar's amazing, and I've always been a proponent of it.
Yeah.
So like, why not?
Okay.
And then I also get to stay home with my son and watch him
That's
take his
awesome.
first steps and.
Oh, that's nice.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
all of those wonderful things. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. And how old is your son now? I'm sorry.
He is 20 months.
20 months old.
Yeah.
So those uneducated swines such as myself who are childless, I don't know how to count in months.
Like
So you say 20 months. That's 2 years?
almost.
Okay, he's almost 2 years.
We'll just
That's
round
some-
it up. He's about to be 2.
And that
in
is some
January.
real mom stuff right there, and all you moms know it. Only moms count in months. Moms are like, oh, he's 96 months old. What?
No. Just until they're 2.
Until
'Cause
they're 2.
anything after that, it
Then
gets
they're just 2.
ridiculous. Just
Okay.
say the number,
So,
okay?
but why can't you just say 1? Like, why can't it just be 1 and then 2? Why does
It's
that
not
13,
because
14?
between the ages of like 0, like birth, and 2,
I was like, what do you mean 0?
0.
Alright, like
The
not
day
a-
they come out your womb,
Okay.
Bill,
All
they
right.
at 0.
Alright.
They ain't even a day old yet, and they're all scrunched up and yeah. Okay, so in those first 2 years though, I mean, they grow so fast
Yeah.
that like a 1-year-old compared to an 18-month-old is completely different.
Okay.
That's why they go by
Oh,
months because
okay.
a month things happen so quickly.
It's like 7 people years, like dog years.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
they're
Yeah,
growing
it's
like
very
dogs.
much those first 2 years go
Yeah.
really fast, and you
Huh.
go from having an infant to a full toddler in a year
Yeah.
flat.
Huh.
That's insane.
I don't really think that's true. That is
And I
very
think
true.
that's why they count it by months.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you go from having like at a year old they're just crawling around. Some of
Yeah.
them are walking. They ain't really talking yet. They're making lots of noise, but they ain't really
Yeah.
talking. All of a sudden, 18 months, they are running through your house, tearing shit up. You don't know where they got. Where did you get that? What are you doing? Get out of there! In 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's why moms are always like 18 months, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's more of like a badge of honor.
Gotcha.
I
So you've
think.
made it this far. I've
Yeah,
managed,
yeah.
I've managed to keep them alive up until 18 months. Right?
Without losing my mind
Yes.
completely. Yes.
Without
yes.
losing your shit. Hurt.
Yes.
Okay. Makes sense. So I'm gonna circle back just real quick to the solar panels. 'Cause I do have a question about that.
Absolutely.
When you're drawing these designs, and hold on, it's gonna get a little loud here.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
He probably has a little penis.
She's no lady.
I'm sorry. We don't. No, I'm not. Anyway.
So when you're drawing these solar panels, right? Like, so to me, again, I mean, not to me, because obviously I know what it looks like. But you know, to those of us at home that maybe don't know,
Yes, of course.
some may say that you're just taking, like, on the computer, you just draw, like, you know, line, small line, big line, and then,
You're
like,
drawing a rectangle,
that's
boo.
it. So like, okay, so what if I just say tomorrow I'm gonna draw rectangles and now I'm gonna make solar panels? Why?
You don't have the specifications, so you can't.
So what specifications am I missing?
Okay, so every company makes different. So like companies like Samsung, LG, Hyundai, those are just some of the companies that all make solar panels.
Okay.
They all make them different, boo.
Okay.
So there's larger ones, there's smaller ones. Depending on the size of your house, some might fit, some might not.
Okay.
As well as that, there's different systems that go with it. So some of them need microinverters, some of them need optimizers with inverters. Again, all kinds of extra equipment that it took me about 6 months to learn. So go ahead and read about that, okay?
I definitely don't know these
I did a lot
I don't
of
know these words.
research, okay? Yeah, so we use like certain companies majority of the time,
Okay.
but like when it comes to solar panels, it is whoever we're working with that sold the equipment. We work with probably close to 30 different.
This freaking guy. Where's he going?
I don't know.
Where the fuck is he going? Seriously. Where does he have to go in his scooter? Where's he going? Little dune buggy.
So we work with about 30 different contractors.
Okay.
So depending on what equipment they're used to using,
Alright.
we put the equipment on that they've sold.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how it's a project is sent to me, and we use something called High Task, which is very similar to like Facebook.
Okay.
So each contractor has their own page,
Gotcha.
and then whenever we book a job through them, we put all that customer's information in there. What kind of system they're getting, where their address is. So when I get it, I go to Google Earth. I find the address. I look at it from an aerial view, draw the roof,
Okay.
and then figure out what panels that they've
Oh.
sold will fit on that.
Oh, okay. Alright, so it is a whole process. So
It
it's
is.
not just rectangles on a page.
No,
Okay, it's a whole
you
process.
need to know what dimensions
Okay.
those are.
Yeah.
You know, dimensions are extremely important
Sure.
because if you have something that's too long and you stack them too deep, it's gonna hang off the edge. You can't have that.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's all those kinds of. You need to know the dimensions of the house, and then
I
you
got
need
you.
to know where the rafters are, because
Yeah.
all of the attachments need to go in directly into the
Oh, okay.
rafters,
Yeah.
so your panels don't slide off your house.
Makes sense.
There needs to be fire clearances, so if there is ever like a need to get up there because a fire started up on the roof, they need to have clearance to walk the whole way around.
What?
And every state is different.
Oh.
So those regulations are done based off of like I have different ones. Sometimes I have very few jobs in Texas.
Mhm.
But Texas has different regulations, so we follow
Okay.
those regulations and codes due to whichever state we're working in.
Gotcha. All right. So no, I'm obviously not going to be.
No, ma'am.
doing
I mean,
solar
not
panels.
tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
I could help you out if you
Okay.
were really interested. I'd be more than happy to help you.
I'm gonna
but,
be honest. It seems like more than what I'm capable of doing.
Anybody can learn. If I can learn, anybody can learn.
Yeah. Let me phrase it. It's not that I don't think I could, but for me, I have a hard time really mastering something if it's not my passion. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm a
Yeah,
lot-
I get that.
I can BS a job, but
Sure.
but I like to be passionate. I'm not one of those people that go to a job every day and hate it. Like if I
Right.
hate my job, I gotta go.
I get that.
I feel like a cancer. You know what I mean?
I'm like that too.
I don't understand people that stay at jobs that they hate for years. I can't understand that.
No, me neither.
So I like the, you know.
Yes, I'm a
I
fickle
think
person.
Yeah, exactly.
This is one of the longest careers besides sales. This is one of the longest careers
Okay.
I've ever had.
Give it up for sales crew.
Sales.
Woo.
Yes.
So before we wrap up, we like to. Oh, first things first. I'm gonna show everybody this awesome shirt that she wore today, especially for this shirt. And read it out to everybody else in case they can't see it.
Just never stop.
You heard that, guys.
Yes.
And that's a Nike plug, by the way.
That is Nike.
Nike, feel free. We're looking for some sponsors.
Your sneaks are great too. I got the sneaks on. They
Hi-yo.
match.
So just never
Shout out to
stop.
Nike.
So why did you decide to wear that shirt today? Who was that for? Who was that message for today?
Oh, all women. all women. I think that we should never stop. I think that they will, the patriarchy continues to try to stop us.
Absolutely.
We are extremely powerful. We always have been, and they have always oppressed us because of that. And we have made enough strides in the world as a whole, as a whole unit, that as long as we keep doing that and keep lifting each other up and keep going outside the box, we can do anything.
Absolutely. So that's such a powerful message. I feel like, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of politics. We'll have a special episode that I've been plugging on the page about women who vote. And I know you're really passionate about politics.
Very passionate. Yes.
So I'd like to invite you to be on that show.
I would love to.
We're going to do a
Absolutely.
panel discussion to talk about, everything from women's suffrage to women's right to vote, and then get some people, especially some women that maybe are very knowledgeable about how the government works, things like that, to be able to teach the women at home to make those educated decisions, and to teach about things like Supreme Court, because right now that's a really hot topic, and that's something that I really want people to be able to understand and know what's happening, as opposed to figuring out which news source to trust and who to trust and who can't be trusted. Because if you hear it, hopefully if you hear it from a reliable source, and everybody will feel a lot more comfortable, so that way we can make the informed decisions.
I think that's great.
All right, awesome. So she'll definitely be back for the show. So, ladies, if you're passionate about government, if you know anything about women's history, please, please, please send a DM, join the panel. It's probably going to be virtual because we want to get as many women as possible. So please, it's going to be safe. It's going to be a great time. Please leave a comment, send a DM, because we really want to make this as best we can and keep those women's strides alive. So before we wrap up, we like to do a little something, a little evening tradition that we call the top 5 things that make you, Courtney, no lady.
No lady.
Hit us with the top 5, Courtney.
I cuss like a sailor.
That's 1. Don't we all?
Well, I have a career, and to most people, that's pretty unladylike this day and age, is it not?
Is.
I prefer pants over dresses.
Ooh.
Oh, I know.
Pants and sneakers over dress and shoes?
Absolutely.
For shame. Tisk.
Comfort, ladies, comfort.
That's
We
free.
waste way too much time getting pretty for men. They will have sex with you either way. It really doesn't matter. Stop the nonsense.
Very valid point.
I love UFC.
What?
Absolutely love it.
That's
I
awesome.
yell at the TV, and I know stats.
Heck yeah. All right.
Question me. I got you.
All right.
Yes,
UFC.
very unladylike.
Well, next UFC viewing party, we might have to.
Oh my
get
God,
together.
yes. Oh my God, I'll
like
be
an
there.
outdoor. Hopefully there's something coming up soon. We could do like a little outdoor UFC fight. That'd be
Girl,
pretty
once
dope.
a month they got fights. Pick one.
There we go. All right, so we got 4 out of 5. We need
4 out of
one
5.
more.
Oh gosh. I'll cuss you out in a heartbeat.
Okay. Aggressive.
I will let you know about yourself, and I don't do it politely.
You know what? Judging by the little bit of time that we've had, I could tend to believe that. I would absolutely say you would probably be very sassy when it came to.
Yes, I am very sassy and what they would call probably bossy.
All right, hurts.
Mhm.
You know what? Hey, they don't judge guys for it. Why judge women?
I was gonna say no. Usually they just call it assertive.
Yeah, very assertive, very dominant.
Yes, but because I don't wear skirts,
Yeah.
I'm called bossy.
Very true. Very, very true. Double standards, huh?
All day.
And we'll talk about that on that episode. All right, cool. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Star.
We really appreciate it. If there's anybody out there that has any questions for Courtney about working in a male-dominated industry, or maybe how you can get into that field, anything like that, again, please feel free. Drop a comment, send a DM. We'll make sure that Courtney gets back to you guys accordingly. And thanks for viewing. Next episode, we'll be dropping another week or so. So stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.